How many projects do you think is needed for a portfolio to get your first job? I would say, well, it depends what type of job, because like, are you talking more about like an end-to-end product designer? Like, because a product designer, I'm sure you guys are seeing that title everywhere if you're looking on job boards. That's sort of like the new normal, even though it's more or less the same thing as a UX designer. I mean, it's inherently not the same thing as a UX designer, but I think what happened is a lot of people in like Silicon Valley, like the Googles and the Facebooks and these top tech companies started, renaming UX designer to product designer, because in their mind, a product designer is thinking beyond just the user experience. They're also thinking like, how does this product benefit the business? So it's the user and the business are like the two key players. But then everyone started seeing like the Googles and the Facebooks and Apples labeling these roles as product designers. So they started doing it, even though what they're really referring to is more user experience, so just focusing on the user. But now everyone just calls it a product designer. So for the most part, product and UX kind of mean the same thing. I don't know why I started saying that. What was your actual question? Oh, how many projects do you need for a portfolio? Yeah, so the reason I brought that up is if you're trying to land a job as a product designer, I would definitely recommend, like I said, at least 2 case studies, because case studies go beyond just the visual design, UI design output. It's showing your entire thought process and what problem you were trying to solve, and what research you did and how you learned about your user to make some informed design decisions. So I would say, yeah, you probably need at least, my recommendation if you're going for a product designer role or UX designer role, at least 2 case studies, ideally probably 3. But I've never really talked about more than 2 projects in any one interview. So I would say like you'd probably be safe with 2. And then maybe if like one is more like heavy on UI and less so much end-to-end thinking, that's probably sufficient. But again, if you're applying for like a visual designer, UI designer, or even like a design system lead position, like you can kind of tailor your portfolios to those specific roles. So it's not like there's a one size fits all answer, right? Or if you're interviewing for an illustrator position, you're probably not going to have case studies. You really want to focus on the craft itself. So yeah, it depends on the role, but assuming you mean like a end-to-end designer, like a UI UX kind of hybrid designer,